Welcome everyone to the Jayempee show. Today, oh boy, we've got a special treat. Seth MacFarlane's cavalcade of cartoon comedy. If you are somehow unaware, Seth MacFarlane is a prominent voice actor and writer and has made some fantastic shows like Family Guy and American Dad. I thoroughly enjoy Family Guy, at least the older episodes. Nowadays the show has gone pretty downhill. I'd actually say Modern American Dad is better. But in the midst of his success, Seth has whipped out this gem of a web series, which to summarize is a collection of 50 different comedic shorts all bundled together in a lovely little package. Or that package could be a trash bag, who knows? That's what we're here to find out. Recently I decided to rewatch Seth MacFarlane's cavalcade of cartoon comedy, and afterwards I went to search for a video that ranked all of them, and I couldn't find a single one. And then the light bulb went off over my head. Hey, I could be the first to rank every short in this collection. And that's what I'm here to do. Oh, and I would massively recommend watching this whole thing before watching this video, cause spoilers, obviously. With all that out of the way, let's begin. Wow, this is bad. It is literally just 60 seconds of a still image with the sounds of someone shitting into a toilet bowl and someone that kinda sounds like Fred Flintstone. I honestly don't know how someone could find this funny. I could barely sit through this, and it's only a minute! Do I even need to explain? Honestly, I don't even know what to say. It wasn't funny. It was Jesus being fat and explaining why he doesn't like that, and he ate too much. There's nothing else to it. Really didn't like this one. It's basically just, he didn't realize he was adopted even though they have long nipples and he don't. And the jokes of him sneezing shit and the shit being a horse, just horrendously not funny. This is me during this whole short. I have absolutely no idea who Matthew McConaughey is. All I know is he's an actor and yeah, I really didn't like this short at all. Didn't like this one. I believe this is the very definition of an anti-joke, where it's supposed to be so unfunny, it suddenly becomes funny. Either way, it failed. Yeah, these were not funny. I kinda got maybe a slight chuckle when I saw the first one, but aside from that, it's really just a guy talking in a Scottish accent and saying random things about movies. I get that it's supposed to be a play on that one friend that always points out the obvious in watching movies, but they don't really make any jokes out of it. They just present him pointing out the obvious. Maybe I could see someone finding the way he repeatedly says,
You're using your brain, but you're not using your brain.
Kinda funny, but that's about it. Very boring. It's just this guy saying random shit for the whole thing. Just not good. Just not good at all. Dear God, I think that's the longest title in this whole series. Yeah, this is really not funny. It's basically just all the horrible things you could do to a dog. And the punchline... yeah, it doesn't work. It's too over the top. Also, this random clip of the guy explaining it didn't make it any more funny. This joke really just doesn't work. Originally being let them eat shit and let them eat pussy just isn't funny. And it makes no sense in the context of the short why she suddenly decided to go with let them eat cake. Once again, I don't know who these people are. I don't think it really matters since this joke basically functions with any two people you put here. It's kind of funny how he randomly just starts talking about fucking his wife with the cake and how the old woman reacts so accordingly and just goes, oh my. Really not funny. It's just supposed to be shocking they show the woman's tits on screen uncensored. And trust me, that isn't shocking to see, when stuff like Pornhub exists. Once again, I don't really get the reference so I can't fully understand the joke. On its own, it's just weird and dumb, and the way her stomach talks is just really creepy. I like the whole thing they're going for with the man created God theme, cause, you know, animals can't interpret the idea of a greater being, but once again, they don't really make any jokes out of it. It's far too straightforward. Not funny at all. It's basically like anime where you can't understand the characters, so there's subtitles. Also, no idea who Bob Dylan or Tom Waits are. But I got the joke either way, it just wasn't funny. Really not funny. Yeah, it is unexpected, but it just isn't funny. There are millions of why the chicken crossed the road jokes they could have gone with, but they went with this one? Don't know who this guy is. The joke, however, is not funny. I had literally no idea who this guy was before I saw this. I had to do a bit of research to try and have this joke make sense, but I couldn't find much information about whatever it is they're talking about, so maybe this joke works if you know what happened. As it stands to me, it's just kinda lame. This one, again, I didn't get because I have no idea who Ted Nugent is. I looked up and found out apparently he is in the National Gun Association, which makes this joke make a little more sense, but once again, it really just isn't any more funny. And why is it the ghost of Christmas past out of all things he could kill? And the second part is just... what the hell again? This is just a mini critique of this movie. The fact that it's ducks on screen talking is pointless. The skit could have worked with humans instead of ducks and it would have been 100% the same. So yeah, pretty boring overall. Wow, these are all just bad. It's basically just 10 jokes and each one is supposed to be funny, purely based on the fact that what they're saying you never hear. But that alone does not work as a joke. There's no structure or build-up or punchline or anything. These are basically the Scotsman and things you never hear jokes. They're all the same. The only one of note which I can say is the best is the one with Mr. Sulu, only because the first time I saw it I did chuckle a bit, which is more than I can say about the rest of them. The most I got out of this was a slight smirk. Nothing else to say, really. Not too good, honestly. I kinda had a smirk when it was revealed the doll could talk, but that's it. It's really dumb. Just really stupid. And the gerbil part at the end wasn't funny either. This one also just goes on way too long. The reveal that there's a dog outside about to attack the building with a wrecking ball got a very slight smirk in me, enough for me to sorta grin at it, but aside from that, it's pretty boring. Don't like this one. It was kind of funny to see the reveal that there's an actual horse there, but aside from that, there's nothing else here, really. And the Sarah Jessica Parker joke is very dated. This one is pretty, I can kinda see how it might be funny to hear their voices say some of the things they said, like,
Just get in sports car. Yeah, get in sports car.
and I kinda thought it was funny when they stopped using their voices and just talked normal, but overall, it's pretty, I sorta like this one, just because of how it's Barney and Fred, of all people, talking to this guy. It's that type of random humor I think kinda works, and the way Barney criticizes his hat was slightly amusing. I think this went on a bit too long. The only real thing I kinda found funny was how calm the psychiatrist reacted to her throughout this whole thing. That's really it. Most of this wasn't that good. I did think the joke with them calling the beaver a vagina, and then the guy just coming out of nowhere and saying,
And that is the origin of the term.
was kind of funny just because it made sense to explain why people call a vagina a beaver. It's stupid, but works decently enough. And I really wished it ended with him just saying that, because him saying he'll explain why bear means a gay guy just really felt unnecessary. Especially when there's no actual joke after it. I kinda like the song, not really funny how pretty much the joke is that they say,
Cause my gal's pussy is the smallest in town.
I don't know, maybe someone laughed at this, but I know I didn't. Not bad, the reveal worked pretty fine. Kinda wish the cow didn't say,
Shit.
at the end and it stayed silent. It would have been a lot better. Okay, so this one is just fucking weird. I think the dialogue between the Canadian and the monkey goes on way too long. It could have been summarized in like 20 seconds. I will admit when he straight up said, "You wanna have sex now?" And the monkey's just like, "Yep." That was kind of a shock. And did get a slight grin out of me. And that reveal that it's the human that had the disease was kind of a shock, I guess. Sure, I didn't expect it, but it wasn't really something I'm gonna fall out of my chair over. Overall, it's sorta okay, I guess. This one, again, is pretty I like the whole idea of it, by actually giving the characters what they want, and the way they react to seeing the body parts got a slight chuckle out of me. And just how the guy randomly gets these parts off screen so quickly and seemingly out of nowhere. Okay, I think this one kinda works as a short story. It's slightly interesting to see where it's gonna go after he actually kills the Roadrunner. However, the direction they go with it, I didn't really like. And the whole joke about you'd be better off dead than be religious is maybe kind of funny. I didn't really laugh at it, but I guess I can see how someone would find this funny. I don't even know where to begin with this one, to be honest. On the one hand, I kind of like it just for how absurd this is. But on the other hand, there's not much in terms of good jokes they tell with this. The one thing that went on with the guy's parents really wasn't funny. And then that joke with Kermit in the end, it just wasn't funny. That's all there is to say. It's kinda okay. I do like how it just ends when he says,
You don't follow the news very much, do you?
No, not really. Why?
it's alright. I sorta like the conversation between the two and how Jesus is bragging about something as trivial as people putting up Christmas decorations. This one is pretty okay. I sorta liked how monotone and boring the frog's voice is, even though he's a talking animal. However, the jokes of him trying to get the princess to touch his dick and shit on his back, yeah, they weren't funny. Okay, so I have a different scenario that I think would make this work a lot better. Let's say the short begins with the wedding and not the mountain climber. Everything with the wedding plays out like normal, and because shit just fell from the sky, the audience would be like, what? Did that actually come from God? But then it reveals the mountain climber and he pulls his pants up. So now it's revealed that he shit on their wedding. See, this works better because 1, no one would be expecting this, and 2, it makes sense once it's shown. As for the actual short, it's sorta okay. I kinda liked how the bride and groom are just like, yeah, God doesn't want us to be together, and they just leave. I liked how calm and understanding the dragon was out of nowhere, mainly just cause it was unexpected. However, the whole gay night thing, yeah, I didn't really find it funny. I actually like this. Yeah, the out of nowhere dialogue that happens between Mario and Peach is pretty good, and some of the jokes even made me laugh. Some nitpicks, however, Mario calls Bowser a dragon.
Hey, dragon, you can have it.
And as far as I'm aware, Bowser has never been referred to as a dragon, so pretty sure that's false information. I kinda like this one in a weird way. Just how Quentin is slicing at the baby's dick for so long, when it would only take like, what, 1 slice? And how there's monstrous amounts of blood. Dear God, if I didn't know any better, I'd think I'd accidentally switched to Baki. I think it's just the right level of weird that it makes it funny. And it kinda does make sense, since, you know, it's Quentin Tarantino. And how he's just going on about casting his wife in some movie was funny because, once again, how random and out of nowhere it is. This is pretty good. The build-up and the reveal both worked pretty well. This one's actually really good. The way it starts off with him throwing stones at the guy was unexpected and got a smirk out of me. And the reveal that there's a goddamn machine gun on his roof, I literally laughed out loud at that. It was actually funny. However, couldn't someone just come to his house at night and throw a rock or a stone really quickly and it would have broken? Oh, and when he broke his own house because of the damn machine gun, now that was funny. This gets a true thumbs up from me. Now this is fucking funny. I absolutely love this short. When I first saw this, I was absolutely dying of laughter at it. The way the sheep so enthusiastically wants to be sheared at the beginning makes the punchline even better. And the whole way he's just so turned on by being sheared and making those random hilarious comments is just so goddamn funny. And how the guy just gets fed up with it makes it even funnier in the end. Definitely the best short in this whole cavalcade of comedy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was all 50 shorts of Seth MacFarlane's cavalcade of cartoon comedy ranked from worst to best. Whoa mama! So after going over every single one of them, I think it's pretty clear that there were a lot more bad skits from this cavalcade than good. Why is that exactly? Well, there's a multitude of reasons. For one is a lot of the skits were based around specific people or references that you pretty much have to know to get the joke. Matthew McConaughey, Jeff Goldblum, Marie Antoinette, Anne Helen, Entourage, Tara Reid, Bob Dylan, Barry Gibb, Bob Marley, Ted Nugent, Sarah Jessica Parker, Magic Johnson. I had absolutely no idea who any of these people were before watching this whole thing. Partially because most of their jokes and their skits are based around current events at the time, so they aren't relevant now. And a millennial like me wouldn't get them. And on the opposite side of the stick, the reason the sheep shearing, he who lives in a glass house and Marshall Troubles jokes work is because they were incredibly simple, but also didn't require you to have prior knowledge to understand the joke. If I have to search up the person your joke revolves around just to understand it, and the joke still didn't work, then sorry buddy, but your joke ain't funny. My advice to anyone who wants to make similar short comedic skits: don't have your joke based around a current event or person, because that will quickly become dated and most people will just be left scratching their heads. As for the worst skits in this set, the reason they are bad is purely because they are just incredibly stupid. Fred Flintstone making grunting noises and hearing disgusting shit sounds for a minute over a still image is not comedy in any sense of the word, and in no context could possibly be funny. Same goes for the sneeze throw up. It isn't a joke at all, it's just an animated sentence. And then there's the trouble of repetitiveness. The ones about sex, a Scottish person talking, and things you never hear are just the same joke repeated over and over, just slightly changed each time, but all equally not funny. And then there's ones where you do get the joke, but the skit itself just drags on, and eventually just kind of give up on being invested. Adopted, Bob Dylan, Two Ducks, Jeff Goldblum, and Trip to the Psychiatrist shorts, for example. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it took Seth 5 minutes to write most of these shorts. This is called Seth MacFarlane's cavalcade of cartoon comedy, so I assume he probably wrote most, if not all of them. I could go over some other aspects about it, like how a lot of the voices of the characters were the same.
I'm just a frog looking to get some wood, man, and mission accomplished, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, it's a joke? How about this? Why are there so few black baseball players?
Holy shit. I did it. He's under there. I got him. I fucking got him.
It was Blender, you asshole! Blender! Your mother and I felt it was wrong to conceive a new child with so many unwanted children in the world already.
Hey, honey, check it out. I got this bag of rocks, and when that jerk Lewis from next door comes walking by on his way home from work, I'm gonna peg the shit out of him.
Of course not, Stephen. We were created by Monkey God in his monkey image. Well, that's what bulimia is. You binge and then you purge.
I'm just kind of sitting here stone-faced watching things that I know I'm supposed to be laughing at.
First, I'm first. Shear me. I'm ready to be sheared.
But really, stuff like the animation and voice acting is fine. There's not really any issues I have with it. So I decided to focus solely on the comedy, which I think is appropriate. So for final thoughts, Seth MacFarlane's cavalcade of comedy was an interesting footnote in Seth's animated career. It was mostly a blunder with a few redeeming bits. At the end of the day, I wouldn't recommend this. 1.5 stars. Regardless of my score, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And hey, if you want, leave your own rankings of these skits in the comments. I'd love to see if anyone had similar taste to me. Anywho, cheers, I'll catch you next time.